Coach, one of Miami's bigger weaknesses has been just the fact they leave a ton of space behind. They're very vulnerable to conceding goals. What do you think were the team's main problems on the counterattack today?
For us, or us countering?
Us countering, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they paid us a lot of respect with the way that they kept three back in all the videos, all the games. They were always man for man, but they had an extra guy back all the time. I think that was a big respect to our speed on the counter attack. I just said to the team in there, I was super proud of the way that they competed, and that the moments when they were ruthless in the first half and we weren't ruthless in the box at all. I thought Christoph Felder was incredible, but we need our big players to score goals, and this game was about the big players scoring goals, and I felt that was the difference between the two teams. Their moments they scored, our moments we didn't, and but I thought we dominated the game in terms of possession, in terms of our movements. I think they were obviously the amount of passes that we had, we knew that in the last 20-30 minutes they were going to tire. They used all 5 substitutions. I felt we were building momentum, but we just didn't have the quality in the final third from our big players, and that is something we need to work on.
James faced that pretty point-blank attempt, I think, in the 3rd or 4th minute, like right away, but then it felt like you guys kind of settled into the game defensively after that. Did you feel like that? Did those guys have any nerves at all, kind of just with this atmosphere, and did something like that kind of help?
Well, I think we obviously dealt with the elephant in the room of playing on the pitch with one of the greatest players of all time. I think that was, and you know what, you don't know how you're going to feel until you've stood in the tunnel or stood on the pitch. You never know. You can say, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to be nervous, until you stood on the pitch and you're up against that person, you just never know. And I felt there was probably 3 or 4 instances in the first half where I felt we were just passive against their front 3. There was a couple of balls in behind and Jimmy made 2 or 3 really good saves. That we were just a little bit, oh dear, what do I do? And I'd said to him before the game that this is a game where you've got to go, you've got to be really proactive. And for 80% of the game I thought we was, and maybe at half time they had a couple of chances that could have gone in, but I felt that we were in the game, and we knew that other teams that have come here have been losing and come back in the game. Ultimately, we just didn't have enough.
Yeah. Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
With the schedule and the pressure of the players for Miami, how much of that do you think kind of affects just performance? 3rd game this week, and going from the climate in Canada to this is a huge difference. So how much of that is actually affecting kind of the performance, or do you think there's other factors?
I mean, it obviously is a factor. I think they've had 2 away games this week. I think LA Galaxy have had 3 away games this week, correct me if I'm wrong. That is just what the MLS is, but we were quite lucky that we had an extra day to recover. Going from one climate, probably 3 different climates, really. But I don't think that had nothing to do with how the game panned out. I knew that we were going to be the fitter, strongest team finishing the game, and we just had to be in touching distance, and we had to take one of those chances, and we didn't. And I'd say that their ruthlessness beat our ruthlessness.
Hola Phil, ¿cómo estás? Quisiera preguntarte acerca del cambio de Diego Chará a la mitad de tiempo, si fue por algo físico o por algo táctico, y la segunda pregunta sería acerca de qué sentiste de regresar a enfrentar a Inter Miami, tu ex equipo.
Sí, el cambio en el descanso es un poco lesión de Diego. Él se siente un poco de malestar en el muslo, entonces no podemos tomar un riesgo porque tuvimos João Ortiz en el banquillo. João Ortiz, me pienso en el segundo parte, fue fenomenal. Entonces el cambio no afecta, no hemos afectados. Entonces no, mi opinión es en los áreas, en nuestro, en vuestro, es donde todos los partidos ganamos. Si si tiene la habilidad para tomar todas las oportunidades, casi siempre gana todos los partidos. Pero nosotros hoy, en un partido, solo tiene unas oportunidades para marcar. Y tienes que marcar esas oportunidades, si nuestro no.
Okay, we're gonna wrap there. Thanks for the time, Phil.